This is Alex again. Going to be discussing this trade that I took on S&P 500 future. Entered February 6, 11:10, which is February 6 is a Monday. It's right here, 11:10, roughly about 41.28. Why I purchased more contracts right here at 7:05, which was right about here, and how I was able to get the direction of the market correct based off of the Federal Reserve meeting that occurred that caused the stock to go up here, all the way up to 41.70. So before I go into the video, I want to discuss the plan. The plan was to long the 41.35 strike calls right here. 41.35, which is the one that I purchased and we're going to be making the video about right there. The plan was to long the calls up here and hold them through the meeting because I was noticing heavy activity on the 10-year Treasury yield and lots of buying activity on the S&P 500. And I bought them right there. Plan was to purchase them, hold them, and sell at 41.65, which is exactly what I did, and I want to discuss how I identified. So let's get into it. So 11:10 a.m. where I entered the trade, as I said a few times already, right there. And then the reason why I decided to purchase more, the reason why I decided to purchase more contracts over here at 7:05 a.m. was because there was lots of buying, massive buying. Every single time we came into this area, orders kept on getting absorbed, absorbed, absorbed. Volume continued to spike every single time. So that was very bullish for me. And in addition to the lots of buying activity on the S&P 500, my plan was to exit on the yield when it hit 3.595 or 3.535, or exit once the S&P 500 reached the price of 4,165. And as you can see right here, exit at 955. And the plan to exit on the S&P 500 triggered right about here. 9:05 or 9:55 a.m., which is right here. I exited as right there, 41.63 to 41.68. I did not I chose to exit the position rather than holding because what ended up happening was this right here. The Dow finished more than 250 points higher. Nasdaq climbed 1.9% after Fed Chair Powell says inflation is declining. So that was the news that made the price of the stock pump. I chose to exit because this was the news that I was waiting for. And in addition to the news, this was the news that I was waiting for. My plan triggered exiting at 41.65, and as the yields dumped, hang on, let me go back here. As the price of the S&P 500 soared to 41.65 as a direct result of this news right here, the Federal Reserve Chair saying that inflation is declining right here, 9:55 a.m. right here. The yield actually hit 3.585, which was another area that there was lots of buying activity. And I just was very satisfied with the profits because the plan worked. And and like I said, the only reason I entered long yesterday at February 6th, 11:10 a.m. was even though we were in an area, hang on, let me get this right here, February 6th, which was a Monday. 11:10 right here, around 11:10 a.m. I entered it over here. The only reason I did this was because we were actually inside an area of demand. The demand formed between 4,050 to 4117. So even before even considering any trades, I was considering all the situations that there was going to be a Federal Reserve meeting today on Tuesday, and also that there was a major buyer on the S&P 500 in an area of demand that was going to come up before the meeting. I just viewed it as very bullish. At the same time, the yields were coming into an area where they were selling. And for context, yesterday on Monday, the markets fell because of the earthquake in Turkey and because the yields soared, because the breakout traders were able to bump the price of the yield up here to the upper 3.5s. And it was time for whoever was in on it to sell their yields. And at the same time, the Federal Reserve meeting was occurring. And like I mentioned, plan was to exit 4165, which is exactly what happened right here, as evidenced by the timestamp. And let's be clear about this. This entire move up in the market was a direct result of the Federal Reserve stating that inflation is declining. And this news was announced on February 7th at 5:31 Eastern, which is this news, yeah, around 2. It was about 9 a.m. Our time, Pacific, because I'm on Pacific, which is right here, evidence of the candle. And investors were just very bullish on this. And this article was written today at 5:31 Eastern time. And yeah, I just identified a major buyer, identified selling on the yield after it just got broken out, and a Federal Reserve meeting was going to happen today, so which is why I longed going into the meeting. And the results, I longed in the area of demand within the 4133 region, all the way down to the 4108 region. So I was longing 4127, 4108, and sold 4165 after the Federal Reserve stated inflation is declining and the yields were selling off. So everything went according to plan. And this is the second Federal Reserve meeting that I've traded on this account. Well, no, I think no, it's actually the third Federal Reserve meeting that I've traded on this account. Second in the past 2 weeks, and yeah, just we've been using Treasury yields and buyers and selling activity on the S&P 500 to determine the outcomes of these meetings. So that's what I've been working on. Total net profit on this trade right here, 150 contracts, $136,475 if I were trading with real money. Yeah, that's it. Just the plan triggered, lessons learned, have a plan, and you always need to make sure that you get out when the plan works. Do not try to hold. As you can see right here, I exited on these call options at 9:55. If I were to have not had a plan, I would have been holding. Look, I exited right here, 9:55. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 10 minutes later, market sold off back to 4,100. So yeah, just have a plan. Be aware of economic situations, and these are some of the results I'm getting from doing that. And actually, I take it back. I believe this is the fourth meeting if you go back to the earlier videos. But yeah, uh, just be alert, be aware, and then once your plan works, exit for a profit. And I identified it and sold. That's a recap of the Federal Reserve meeting, or the trade I took leading into the Federal Reserve meeting that occurred today. And yeah, investors were satisfied with what the Fed had to say, and I got in about hours before. Actually, the first one I got in a day before, and then the second transaction I entered about 2 hours before the news was actually announced on the Federal Reserve. So yeah, if you're just alert and aware, and you look for opportunities in the market, these are the results. Just have a plan, follow through, and I'm gonna keep these videos coming out for you guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're interested in me doing more of these. But yeah, these are the results I'm getting. And the account, I opened it up for the paper trading account. I started with about $250,000 about 2 weeks ago. If you go into the videos, uh, right now we're sitting at 710,000. That's about $460,000 profit in about 2 weeks, trading off of just supply, demand, and the treasury yield and the S&P 500. So these are the results. I'm going to keep on pushing these videos. Like I said, like, subscribe, and that's it for today, guys. I'll see you around, and have a good one.